Welcome viewers, if there are any. In this video I'm gonna show you one of the many alternatives to cycle from Vienna to Bratislava. This completely flat 102 kilometer route follows the EuroVelo 6 plus a little detour. See the upsides, the downsides and get some culinary advice. My trip started in a park and ride garage in Vienna. I had not intended to go to Vienna by car, but bus and train left me hanging this weekend, so I drove there. This was my first time cycling in Vienna and I was very curious because the city is not really known for being a bike town. I don't think it's because they don't want to, but rather because they don't have to, because they have such a good public transport system. They have an annual ticket, which costs only 365 euros, that is €1 per day, and out of the 2.2 million Wieners, over 1.2 million bought this or a similar ticket in 2023. My journey continued through the outskirts of the city and followed a cycle path heading to the main railway station. And in some places it looked very different to what I had expected, while in other places it looked exactly like I did. This is a so-called Gemeindebau, which is housing owned by the city of Vienna, and one of the reasons why rents are comparatively cheap if you compare it to Munich or other European cities of the same size. I'm a small town boy and I was enjoying my big city ride. Watch me cross a 12-lane road. The route continued through a business district that was very quiet on this Friday morning. Lucky for me, the whole ride towards the Danube was very relaxed. My progress wasn't great, but I made it to the Prater area and was on gravel for the first time on that day. After that, I made it to the Danube. My progress was still not great, but hey, how often do you see an intermodal train being unloaded? By the way, you can also take a boat from Bratislava to Vienna and vice versa, and you can bring your bike on those boats. Time to cross the Danube onto Danube Island. I did not film there for a very specific reason. These 3 letters mean nude beach in German. Alright, enough playing around, now it was time to get some kilometers done. I turned onto the cycle path that runs along the top of a flood protection dam and started to push. It was terrible. It was more than 30 degrees on that day, there is no shade and there is barely any variety on this path. It's just a damn straight dam. After a while, it just felt like being on a stationary bike and I started to treat it that way. Blindly pedaling just to get it done. The upside of this, I averaged nearly 32 kilometers an hour for this 33 kilometer dam segment. You could continue on this path towards Bratislava, but this route takes a deliberate detour. The direct route is only 70 kilometers long and I wanted to see more on that day. I was relieved to leave the dam and get at least some shade for the first time in over an hour. I headed north and then turned towards east to come to this amazing cycle and pedestrian bridge that stretches from Austria to Slovakia. It's called Cycle Bridge March and it was opened in 2022 and financed by the EU funds for regional development. I think it was a great investment. By the way, the chances of someone checking your passport is really low. However, I advise you to bring one just in case for emergencies. The twisty, windy cycle path that followed was a very welcome change and super nice to ride on. Different surfaces and surroundings made my way towards Bratislava very enjoyable. A bit north of Bratislava, where the rivers Danube and March meet, is the castle Devin. It's a great place to visit. The castle is well preserved and has an interesting history. This small tower is called the Maiden Tower, and there is a legend that a young woman jumped from it into the Danube to escape an unwanted fate, and her spirit is said to still linger in the castle. I finally made it to Bratislava and was greeted by the bridge of the Slovak National Uprising with the UFO restaurant on top. That's a fancy restaurant with a very nice view. Let's just say it like this, I wouldn't go there in my cycling clothes. I continued through the center and ended my ride in front of the Opera House. 100 kilometers, more than 4 hours and a lot of heat have made me hungry, so I went to my favorite restaurant in Bratislava, Dosa and Samosa, an Indian restaurant. Butter chicken dosa and a very nice soup helped me to recover. Fast forward and we are at my hotel for the night, Rastravia in the northern part of the city. The hotel is modern, stylish and clean, so here I was, sweaty, dirty and smelling of Indian food. I had a nice room with a shared bathroom, this way it was more affordable. There are also other great hotels in the city, but over the last couple of years, the prices increased a lot. The room came with complimentary access to the spa area, and chilling in the whirlpool was exactly what I needed after this ride. However, I did not use the sauna that day. By the way, I have a life hack for you. You take the key card when you leave the room, but you need electricity to charge all your stuff. I learned on that day that you can just put any card into this slot. All that chilling made me hungry again, so I went to a nearby restaurant where I made sure my vitamin B intake is not too low. After a happy little misunderstanding with the waiter, I was served 2 main courses. And what do you do if life gives you 2 full plates of food? Right, you eat it. After that, I was tired and full, retreated to my room and soon went to sleep. So what is the conclusion of this trip? Would I recommend it? Definitely. Even the dam part? Yes, just don't do it in the middle of the summer, and if you do it in the summer, don't do it in the middle of the day. The second part of the route was super nice to ride, and Bratislava is always worth a visit. I will continue this trip in part 2, so check it out if you want. And in the meantime, thank you for watching.